day of the week. So listen to The Jive at 5, Mondays through Friday at 5 of 5, and you too can be an educated listener.
Tina in Studio B, as well as Chris Calandra, and you have a special guest with you, Chris, don't you?
I did bring a very special guest. Lindy Brock, who works with me at Elliott Wealth Management, is going to join us on probably the second half of the show, and should be a good discussion.
Excellent. Well,
agencies allowed any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace. And I say that, and that's something that Nazi Germany would have done and did do. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, and by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm. It was just reported that it wasn't this Michael Cohen they were talking about. So all night long, it's Michael Cohen. I said, I want to see your passport. He brings his passport to my office. I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. They had Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. Sure. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
since you are attacking
No,
our news
not you.
organization,
Not you.
can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us
is
a chance
terrible.
to
Let's
ask
go.
a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically,
asking a question. Don't
Mr.
be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No, I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Go.
Chris, your reaction to that?
I've been waiting for that type of leadership and treatment of the press for a long time.
A little musical kind of thing. I've been waiting for a lifetime. I don't know what song that is. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yes, how refreshing was that? Because let's just not mince words. CNN is fake news. They got it in for the guy, and instead of pussyfooting around, he gave it back to him. Am I not correct, Mr. Calandra?
I love the press. I want the press to be free and tough on our leaders. They're completely unfair. Their coverage is lousy. I don't think they have professional standards like they did generations ago. And for them to be taken to task, I'm all for it.
And we have a special guest in studio. Maybe you can tee that up, because I'm going to ask her the same question.
So, yes, you and Marty have met Lindy, who works very, very closely with me at Elliott Wealth Management. She's actually in our Florida office, but she's up for a client event that we're hosting tomorrow. And you were kind enough to invite her along with me onto the show. And this is her first radio experience. This is very exciting. So why don't you put her on the spot right away?
Lindy, what do you think of that little segment I played? And Chris, I know you have to probably say it's the greatest thing ever, but your boss's comment on that, do you agree or disagree with that?
You know, my first reaction, which is that it just made me chuckle. To hear somebody go to the media like that, that's in that position, it's refreshing. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's way overdue.
Marty, your reaction?
I thought it was a little bit an oxymoron. You know, he's telling, don't be rude, don't be rude. He's built his whole, candidacy on rudeness. And so, little payback, the fact that there is an open-endedness to a press conference to this. And this is one of the reasons why he hasn't wanted to do it, because he didn't want to confront it.
No, with the backdrop of them giving fake news, a Chris despicable 860-685-7700, 685-7700. A despicable, I can't even say it on the, I'm not going to. And CNN ran with it. Are you kidding me, Chris? Are you kidding me?
And past Republican politicians would just take, I'll say, the high road, and they would just let bygones be bygones. They would
lame
turn the
road.
other
The
cheek.
lame road.
And that has been unsuccessful because these media folks, not all of them, but many of them, too many of them, they've gotten bolder and bolder and don't even pretend to be unbiased and professional anymore. They're completely, if they're going to treat Donald Trump like he's the opposition and the enemy, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't return the favor and treat them the exact same way, and that's what he does.
I actually got one better for you. If I was his strategic advisor, which I should be because I'm so underutilized in life, I would boycott Lindy, CNN. What do you think of that? I would say, you could show up to my press conference, but no one in my staff, on my staff, and when you're in this press conference, you will not be asked a question. What do you think of that? If you watch CNN, it's 24/7. Could it be that Donald Trump's grandfather was Jack the Ripper? I mean, it's becoming a caricature of itself. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't even know if it'd make a difference to him.
I think you're right. So we do have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes, hi, I'm Lionel from East Hartford.
Hey, Lionel, I think you were on the show before, weren't you?
Yes.
Great, thanks for calling in again. What's on your mind?
Well, because I got 3 words. Love it, love it, love it.
Whoa, dude, rock on! You know, it's a rock theme, and we're gonna rock on because you know something. I think the media is scared. I can't say it on the air. You know what I'm saying? It begins with an S. Lists. They are scared to death. Am I not correct, sir?
Of course.
I mean, they are, and this guy doesn't care. Doesn't really, you know what's great about life? When you don't really need a job, that's when you do well. He doesn't need the job, Chris. And he's going to say, F you.
You know why? You know why sometimes I call? Because, you know, I called last time because this is the only place, you know, this is the only station that I could get conservative news. Everything else is just liberal garbage.
Yes, I agree with that, but Marty doesn't like that because Marty, you like the liberal side of things, don't you? He's in the demographic. He's like him and 5 other people are the only ones that watch the evening news, but that's good, Marty, because they
Also,
need that
read
support.
the paper.
There you go. Another dying media. But so you didn't really dig it as our caller says. You kind of find it offensive.
I didn't find it offensive. I found it humorous. I found it strange in that he's telling other people they're rude when he's built his whole career on being rude, and the fact that the rest of the press corps did not come to the aid of that one guy, and they would have said,
That's a good point.
Well, no. I think it's an excellent point.
We're not going to.
It's an excellent point, but the thing is, the game has
They would have
changed.
shut the whole thing down and said, well, you don't want to ask a question, I'm out.
No,
See
there's
ya.
a new sheriff in town, and they know you want the scraps on the table. Here it is. You want to be screwing around? Then I won't do anything. Press conferences. I think I was amazed that a lot of them applauded your opinion. I applauded Donald. If you saw that,
I'm probably the only one here that did not see this whole thing happen.
always on
I've
the
heard
job.
so much about it, and with the clip that you just played, that was why I was over here sort of chuckling.
Chris, were you amazed that they were applauding?
No, I don't think it's.
I was
it's
shocked.
surprising because there's been misbehavior in the press for a long time, and when you see misbehavior and then you see somebody crack down on it, you usually feel pretty good about it. And it's not just people that are watching or listening to that, but also people in the room. They know that some of these folks that are in that room are, I would describe as dirtbags. And I'm not saying that the CNN reporter, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but even if you hear his behavior, like yelling out and this, that, the other thing, that's as disrespectful and as rude as Donald Trump is. And
Because they don't think of him as the real president, caller, correct?
Yep. Excuse me. One more thing. You know some other. I don't know. You probably you guys probably might know this, but you know the Hartford Courant.
Yeah, the paper.
Yeah, Hartford Current, yeah.
Yeah, my God.
I use it. Do you know something? When I change the oil sometimes, and I don't want it to trip, I use the Hartford Current. That's about where it goes.
Wow, man, they're so fake. They are. Oh my God, horrible.
Bizarre. They're about as relevant as, let's say, Elvis's Vegas act. It's really kind of done. But thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. So I want to play you another clip. I like you're the female and a very accomplished person as well in the studio. I'm going to play you a little clip that I kind of touched on last week, and it's Meryl Streep, a very oppressed person.
Screaming and lamentation this weekend, and I have lost my mind sometime earlier this year, so I have to
No,
read.
it was years ago, trust me.
Thank you, Hollywood Foreign Press. Just to pick up on what Hugh Laurie said, you and all of us in this room really belong to the most vilified segments in American society right now. Think about it. Hollywood, foreigners, and the press. But who are we? And you know, what is Hollywood anyway? It's just a bunch of people from other places. I was born and raised and educated in the public schools of New Jersey. Viola was born in a sharecropper's cabin in South Carolina, came up in Central Falls, Rhode Island. Sarah Paulson was born in Florida, raised by a single mom in Brooklyn. Sarah Jessica Parker was one of 7 or 8 kids from Ohio. Amy Adams was born in Vicenza, Veneto, Italy. And Natalie Portman was born in Jerusalem. Where are their birth certificates? And the beautiful Ruth Nega was born in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, raised in London. The nicest people is Canadian. And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
So, do you think at all, and again, we invite our callers to chime in 860-685-7700, 685-7700. You know, I have a kind heart. Do you have a kind heart?
I don't.
Well, that's because that's why you're so successful.
bad.
That's why you're so successful with Chris. But does it break your heart that Meryl Streep is oppressed?
It just sounds like she needs a lollipop and a Xanax.
Yeah, I mean it didn't really sound like Meryl Streep. Like if you didn't describe it as Meryl Streep, right, Marty? It didn't really sound like Meryl Streep. But I guess the drama part of their careers has really come out. They are so dramatic about the turn of events. It's insane.
I have to. I'm sorry. We have a caller. We're going to put him on in 2 seconds. But no, you don't know the whole struggle she's been through. No, you don't know. No, this could
Tell us.
This could be a great movie. It could be like Grapes of Wrath. She was born. I'm sorry, I get broken up. She was born to an executive in New Jersey, in the richest part of New Jersey. She went to an Ivy League school, and the rest is just so brutal. But don't you cry at night, Chris? The brutality she's been through.
Yes, but that's why these folks they take themselves so seriously, like vilified. They make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars doing a very specialized and skilled. I'm not saying it's unskilled, but they're just divorced from the reality that the vast majority of Americans are living day in and day out. It's
I'm sorry to say,
crazy.
Mr. Calandra, I agree with you, but I think, as always, I was right last week. I think they're going to start increasingly alienating their audience. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. I am a huge fan. I just tuned in, and I am listening. And every point that everyone's making, apart from Marty, I'm not sure how I feel about Marty. But, hey, guys, that's exactly what the world is going through. We're going through a change of the guard.
Changing of the guard, baby. New sheriff in town.
Yes, sir. And these people who think they have the moral authority and have the moral high ground to judge everyone and to make everything about race, about racism, it does not exist.
No, it exists because they want it to exist. They feed on it. I mean, they've been living in this la-la land. And you know something? God. I think Hollywood is going to change over the next 10 years. I think all these entitled, this is called pseudo-intellectuals. Guess what? The train's leaving the station, dude.
Man, I'm so excited. This is finally, it's like literally I was tuning through the channels and you guys came on like, finally, someone who has a point of view that I have. You know, it's like you can't even speak in public because everyone will call you names because you do not have an ideology or
I think that's way true. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.
What a great caller, and I think that's the vein of thought that Donald Trump has tapped in, that no politician for a while on either side of the aisle has really been able to tap into. That enthusiasm that caller has, where he's thinking, finally, somebody represents my views. Finally, somebody's poking back.
Isn't that not why he won?
I believe it is, but
Because they had a pent up, everyone thought Bruce, you know what, something I also think? That rally in Philadelphia did not help Hillary. It hurt her when they had, I don't know these people, Perry, Jay-Z, and Bruce Springsteen. By the way, that gig's off the tracks. I mean, he used to be the working man. He's been living in the bubble too long himself. Please go away. It's time for the Greyhound track for you anyway. But yeah, that hurt her because people, when you're worried about your job, and you see these people, in a cocoon talking about things like global warming. I'm saying it's an issue, but when you're about to lose your job, that's not the major issue, is it?
No,
there
it's
you
not
go.
at all.
Marty, it's the major issue or not?
No, the issues are switching, and I'm just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, well, there you go. Caller, are you there? Caller? Whoa. Caller, it helps if you know something. I will not totally disagree with you. I think there's parts of Donald Trump that are less than kosher. And you know something? Thank you very much for calling, because I think you had a really good viewpoint. I thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
So, very good segment. Have you enjoyed being on the show so far?
I feel very welcome.
Yeah, I like Tom was great, wasn't he?
He was wonderful.
And
I got a free CD.
And it's free CD, and I would crank it on the way home. And I believe that, can you believe the kind of callers we get on this show?
It's pretty cool.
And I think your job's pretty cool because you work hand in hand with someone I consider a dear friend and someone I respect as a business person, Chris Calandra. I think, Marty, we both agree that not only is he a go-getter, he's extremely ethical, and I do mean that in all sincerity, and I consider him a good friend, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that people in that position have to have a vision. And that's one thing that maybe the last administration is being kind of, jammed down, is that they didn't have a vision. And maybe Trump has a vision. I'm not quite sure what it is. But at this point, getting back to Chris and what he provides a roadmap for people to be successful.
And with their best interest, because, yes,
Absolutely.
he wants to be successful for himself. But let's talk about it. Talk about the environment at Elliott Wealth. Chris, I actually, have done some work with Chris, and I was really impressed with the fact that he really does have his client's best interests at heart, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, not only because it's required, but he does. I mean, he's very genuine about it. And I think that's why I've stayed on with him so long, is because you see that and you respect that, and that's the kind of company that you want to be with.
And how is the overall environment at Elliott Wealth? I know you have two real divisions. That is one in Connecticut, the other one in Florida. So I think it's really important. Again, my previous life was in the corporate world. I think the environment is everything for success, both for internally, meaning the personnel, the people that work for the company, and externally, the clients. So how would you describe the environment at Elliott Wealth Management?
Really, the environment, I think we have more of like a family structure. It's not like the corporate environment per se, because that's not really how we work, but we work very closely together.
I think, if I could jump in, Lindy, I think, Jeff, one of the hallmarks, culturally, because we're not a big organization, we're a small business, as we've talked about on the show. It's very entrepreneurial, but when we work with clients, we bring the fact that we're very highly educated in what we do and very experienced. And working with clients, and I think this is what you saw, Jeff, in your dealings with me, is that we take a big picture approach in focusing on clients' needs and wants and their goals and objectives. And we have the strength of a very comprehensive team between the two divisions, having the Florida office and the Connecticut office. I'm a certified financial planner. Lindy is a licensed professional. We have CPAs other CFPs, we bring a lot of expertise, experience, and a very comprehensive team to help the clients.
Quite a menu of services that are provided, right? And is that something that they need to come to the office and to hear about, or are there places in which they can go and seek that information out?
Well, we have clients all over the country, not just in Connecticut. And one of the things, we talk on the show, right, Marty, is that one of the problems or challenges in my business is that as we work with clients and they get to retirement age and they successfully achieve retirement, what do you think happens? Unfortunately, they leave the state of Connecticut. They go to North Carolina, they go to South Carolina, they go to Florida, they go out to Arizona and Nevada. So we have clients all over. So we deal and use technology to leverage meeting with clients using webinars and other platforms so that we could service the clients even though we may not be in the same town as them on any given day. But folks could go and visit our website. It's www.elliottwealth.com to get more information about our biographies, the services we provide, events we're holding, and the like. So that's a good place to get more information.
And how long have you been together in a in a professional scenario?
Well, I know you joke about my youthfulness in studio, but I've been in this business for 25 years. It's the entirety of my career. I've only been a financial advisor. This is what I was built to do. And the fact that I now have 25 years of experience, although I'm still 46 and blessed to be in the prime of my working career, it's a good combination because we work really, really hard. We're open to new ideas. We're embracing technology, but 25 years of experience is something that's often helpful as you work with clients.
Well, we do have a caller that wants to ask a question about you and your organization. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
And what do you have to say? Well, you have something that you want to ask Chris, or?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see how to differentiate between what you see on the news about all the stock markets and things going up and concerns in Europe, and versus what really matters to planning and saving for retirement.
Yeah, that's a good question. I love news, and if you're a fan of the show and listen to the show, I'm a news junkie and a political junkie in terms of news. But it's not a good idea to allow the daily news cycles to affect your long-range business plans. And if you have a good plan and it's well thought out and it's monitored, and you're working in partnership with some professionals, you can pay attention to the news of the day, but it shouldn't cause you to change just based on what's happening in a news cycle in a given day or given weekend. And I know we talk about politics a lot on the show, and I know back in 2008 when President Obama was elected, there was a whole slew of my clients that thought that was the end, that the sky was falling, it was all over, and they were doomed. And those people weren't correct. And you might not like President Obama's administrative policies, but it wasn't the end of the world. And I now, with the election of Donald Trump, have a whole different group of clients that are thinking it's the end of times and this is the worst thing to happen and that they're doomed. It's the same conversation as it was in 2008. It's just I'm talking to a different group of people. And if you have a good plan and you stick to the fundamentals of having a financial plan to achieve your goals and objectives, who is president or what happens in this news cycle or that news cycle is not going to allow you to not achieve your goals.
Great. Thank you very much for the call, Chris. Thank you very much for your insight in that area. And Lindy, we are in our last minute of the show, and you're going to have the honor to play buzzwords with us. It's where we ask basically a little tidbit, let's say a word that's in the news, and you kind of draw association. So, Marty, let's go ahead with some buzzwords.
Okay, how about vetting? The process of vetting.
Well, obviously in the news, right? With the new administration, I think the Democrats are kicking in their heels, but I think it's all for naught, Chris, isn't it?
I think vetting should be a more natural process, but it's now used as a political weapon by both sides, and I think it's unfair to the people that have a chance to serve the public.
No question. That's why very few accomplished people want to go into politics. Go ahead.
Davos.
Pass. Go ahead.
Okay. Debutantes. There was a huge.
They'll be at the ball. I've dated many of them.
Aren't
Go
they going to
ahead.
be at Black Eyed Sally's with the suit tomorrow?